Hey there guys, Super Quintendo here, and it's been a little while since I visited this channel. I've been really working busy over at my other channel, my Star Wars channel. Lots of Star Wars guys, lots of Star Wars things are happening. Of course, if you like Star Wars, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. However, today on my Nintendo channel, I am going to be doing something kind of light and breezy. I could have talked about the Nintendo Direct, but let's be real, there wasn't anything too mind-blowing over there that could be discussed that many haven't already discussed before me. Here, I'm going to be doing some Nintendo ranking. I've been wanting to do this tier stuff for a long time, and I kind of decided to combine a lot of the ideas that I already had. We're going to be doing all sorts of different stuff with Nintendo ranking today. Starting out right now, I'm going to do the various IPs that are here. So, of course, I'm on like the tier ranking website thing here. I will say that I can't understand some of these. I think this is Mario Party. I am not 100% sure. Some of the words here are very cut off. So the ranking system, I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of these videos already that I've done in the past. S tier, for whatever reason, is like perfect. I think it's going to stand for super perfect. And then obviously D is kind of the worst. I would like to actually create a new slot for perhaps... Okay. So I added a row so that it's more like haven't played for these generations. I really added it for No More Heroes because I have not played No More Heroes. Oh, and Fire Emblem. I've never played a Fire Emblem game. Well, you can't even see that on there. But rest assured, Fire Emblem is on haven't played. I don't know why I've never gotten into Fire Emblem. It sounds like something I would have to dedicate some time into. And not that I'm unwilling to do that, I just have so many things coming out that I already am invested in. But let's get started. Looks like everything else I have played at least one game in the franchises respectively to be an accurate judge. Animal Crossing is the first one up here. That's going in S category. Now, I guess I should say for these ranking videos, I'm going to be doing this based on my personal interests and preferences. You may not agree with me. You may think my things are so stupid, and that's so fair because I definitely have some unbridled nostalgia when it comes to certain franchises and games, and I also have some weird bias against games that you might totally treasure. Speaking of, Super Mario Baseball is a D. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge fan of the sports games. I really enjoyed... Is it on here? Super Mario Strikers I really enjoyed. I'd put that in A category. I don't know why that just stuck with me in the GameCube era, but it did. Bayonetta is a solid B for me. Anything with a B and up is a compliment. Think of it as far as your report card goes. Donkey Kong, I feel bad giving Donkey Kong a B because it's like so OG. Okay, we're gonna leave it a B. I'm not a huge Donkey Kong person. Dr. Mario is a solid C experience. I'm so sorry, not a Tetris person. Earthbound gets a B. F-Zero gets an A. Mario Golf, I'd say it's slightly better than Mario Baseball, but it's still going to go in the D category. I hate Ice Climbers. I hate them so much. Mario Kart gets an S category, obviously. Kid Ick is a B. Kirby is also a B. I'm not a huge Kirby person. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I don't. Luigi's Mansion is S category because it's perfect. Super Mario, obviously. We wouldn't have this list if it wasn't for Super Mario. Metroid's an A. Mario Party is... if we're talking like the first 7 Mario Party games, it would totally be an A or even an S tier. But the franchise has just gone so downhill with very little redemption. I'm going to leave it a B. Pikmin's an A. Pokemon is an S. If you knew anything about me, Pokemon is right up there. Super Smash is an S. You can't see that either. What? Splatoon's an A. Star Fox is an A. Mario Tennis is a C. I like Mario Tennis enough. WarioWare. I keep saying WarioWare. I can't talk. Xenoblade, Yoshi, and The Legend of Zelda. So, this is my finalized list here, people. Feel free to attack me for my wrong opinions. Ooh, okay. So, this one's super relevant. As many of you may already know, Super Nintendo games are now on the Nintendo Switch Online. It's awesome. They have their own little application thing, which is really cool. And they added 20 whole games to this from the Super Nintendo. So we're going to rank these. So let's get started. Haven't played. Everything else on here should be good. Yep, everything everything else on here should be good. I have played everything else. F-Zero is a solid entry in the title. Joe and Mac as well. They don't have the S category here. I feel like for all intents and purposes, everything is shifted down one. Kirby is solid. These are all solid entries. Link to the Past is the first perfect tier game we have here. I really enjoy Pilot Wings. This would be an A category if that was available. Super Mario World is an obvious one that goes up there too. I enjoy Brawl Brothers. Star Fox, duh. Stunt Race, duh. Super Tennis, duh. Super Mario Kart, we gotta put the OG in there. It's definitely not the best in the franchise still because so many of the games have surpassed it, but I mean, you can't deny that it's the one that started it all. Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, and Super Soccer. I don't think these are as controversial of choices. Many of you might be like, have you really not played these games? And I'd be like, you're so right. I haven't played them. And again, I don't know where I would have the time to begin to revisit these old games. I did start to play a little bit of A Link to the Past today as a refresh. That was exciting for me. That was really fun. It was always good to see pink-haired Link. Always remember that. All right, let's rank some Zelda games while we're here. Might as well. So first up, we got Four Swords. Not one of my favorites, but it's not the worst Zelda game in the series. I don't think it's absolute garbage, so we're going to leave it at a C tier. A Link to the Past, in many ways, A Link to the Past probably deserves to be in the S tier. For me personally, it's an A solid game. It really created the top-down 2D Zelda games that we have now and that we coveted so much. All right, A Link Between Worlds is also an A game set in the same universe. Pretty nifty. My favorite Zelda game of all time, Breath of the Wild. I know a lot of you Ocarina of Time fans are screaming in the distance, but I'm sorry, I just don't have the same nostalgia tinted glasses when it comes to Ocarina of Time. Don't get me wrong, we will get to where my nostalgia tinted glasses are, but I really do enjoy Ocarina. I think it'll probably go in the S tier. I might as well put it there right now. Save myself the search. But yeah, Ocarina of Time definitely goes in the S tier. But if I had to choose between the two of them, I would definitely say Breath of the Wild. Four Swords Adventures can get wrecked. Link's Awakening, which, very exciting. It's getting its own remaster on the old Nintendo Switch on September 20th. I have that pre-ordered, of course. Majora's Mask is definitely an A tier game, I believe, too. The original Zelda. Everybody says this is a controversial opinion, but everybody I've ever seen do a ranking video always puts the OG Zelda towards the bottom. And I'm doing the same thing. Because have you ever tried to replay the original Legend of Zelda without any help whatsoever? It's near impossible. And it's not really fun to play anymore. It's got a lot of cool elements and it created a lot of good ideas, but it's just not... There's better games to play. So the Oracle of Ages and Seasons games are fun. They're good experiences. You know, you get your different endings and they sort of complement each other. I enjoy those games. They're definitely solid B-grade games. I don't think anyone's knocking on any doors to get remakes of them. I would be down for it. If they're going to do Link's Awakening, they could definitely do these two. I think Link's Awakening had a much bigger cultural impact. It was the most different Zelda game ever, so I get why they went with that. Phantom Hourglass is another B-grade game. I love that it takes place in the Wind Waker universe. I freaking love Wind Waker, so any more of these guys I was cool with. Skyward Sword is another game that everyone says is controversial to like, but I've never quite seen someone hate on Skyward Sword. I'm putting it in an A. I think that it's visually stunning and the story's amazing. Rip out those motion controls and replace it with something else, and you've got a perfect game. Spirit Tracks, I gotta give a C. It's not really my thing. Minish Cap is a solid B grade game. Wind Waker is an S game. That's I think you're seeing where my nostalgia tinted glasses are. It's right up here. I love Wind Waker. I think it was such a change to the look, and I think one of the greatest things about Zelda as a franchise is how it's ever changing, and anytime fans want things to sort of stay the same, Nintendo tends to push in the opposite direction, which I think they should continue to do, because fans would love if things stayed complacent sometimes. Look at the Pokemon series. Like, that's as a result of staying too complacent. And then that comes from a very intense Pokemon fan. I think they could definitely use to change some things up. Zelda does that all the time, and it was ever proven with Wind Waker that changing the look of the models can be a good thing. Twilight Princess goes in the A category. I remember being like 10 years old and it just being really, really, really hard. And I hated it because of that. And then The Adventures of Link goes down there. I think that's pretty unanimous. As much as it was a departure from the original game, I don't think The Adventures of Link is a very enjoyable game either, and it doesn't quite have the benefit of kickstarting the entire franchise to back it up. It changed some things. It's got some cool story elements, but overall, it's definitely the last game that I would want to play. All right, we're going to rank the Nintendo consoles here. The Virtual Boys included, but the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and etc. are not. That's really weird, but that's okay. We're going to go from perfect to worst. Let's just throw the Virtual Boy in there right now. Let's spare ourselves the moment there of the explanation. I don't think an explanation is necessary. Super Nintendo, I think, is an A system. I think it improves everything about the NES and just makes it better. NES is a definitely B system. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Nintendo 64, another A system. That controller, man. That controller, if that controller was different, that would be an S system, I promise. The Wii. So the Wii is a B system. A lot of people remember it a lot worse than it was, but you have to remember the motion controls were the first of its kind, and it was a very pretty system. Lots of beautiful games on there, so much shovelware. It was the casual consumer's game system. And it really threw Nintendo on the map again, especially after the GameCube. Which this is nostalgia, guys. I promise you. If I was funneling this purely on nostalgia, this would be in the S category. The GameCube is the console that I grew up with. I think personally that the GameCube had the best games. I wholeheartedly believe that. In almost anything, the GameCube's games just totally dominate the scene. And that's what Nintendo totally focused on. It's getting an A from me, but I would love to put it up here, but I can't do that. The Wii U, yeah. Anyway, the Switch is the creme de la creme of Nintendo consoles. Everything that we have here built to what we have here. In many ways, the Switch is literally an amalgamation of all of these. And last but not least, Pokemon. Just as sort of a forewarning, I'm going to be doing this more by generation than by individual games. I have played every single generation here, but I have not played every single iteration here. Like I can tell you right now, I have never in my life played Pokemon Gold. I have always played Pokemon Silver. That's just sort of been the way of the land here. Alpha Sapphire and Alpha Ruby, by extension, are everything that you want from remakes. They're gorgeous, and they're awesome games. They don't really do anything different to the originals, so I would say that kind of slights them just a little bit from being perfect. There isn't enough in them that really transforms them. Like, I would argue, where are they? We have Blue and Red right here. They're A title games, but I would say that Fire Red and Leaf Green are S tier, because I really think that they did just enough to totally change these games. I also think that the Gen 3 style games are like near perfect. I am very attached to these. I think that what they were doing here was great. They really transformed a lot. I'd say these are also S tier games, because not just because these are the ones I grew up with. These were the games I played as a kid. but obviously this has the biggest map of pretty much any Pokemon game. Gold and silver really, and crystal, where is it? There we go. Oops. These totally changed the game, and they made Pokemon what it is today. And they haven't really done anything this ambitious since then. And by extension, these games, while they weren't as big as these, they definitely had a different vibe to them. They strayed away from Team Rocket. They tried a different plot, different legendaries, different vibes. It was all good altogether. They were really trying to promote the Gen 3 anime. So I personally really like this and what bled over into the remakes of Red and Blue. I'm not a fan of these guys. I'm not. I'm just warning you right now that the white and black era of Pokemon, ooh, not that bad. They're not that bad. They're not my favorites. I can't really explain what it is. I think this is around the time I kind of fell out of Pokemon for a bit. Took a brief hiatus. I was right back in the next generation. Something about this just didn't appeal to me. I wasn't a huge fan of not being able to play really with previous generation Pokemon. That wasn't my favorite thing. Gen 4 is a solid B title. I enjoy Gen 4. Where's Giratina? There it is. I enjoy these. I think that the move to the DS was solid. They added really cool things like the pageants and everything like that. It's not the best. It's definitely not the worst. I thoroughly like them. Heart Gold and Soul Silver kind of get the same reasoning for being A status as the Sapphire and Ruby ones. They're awesome. They're great, but they don't do anything that makes your jaw drop. That's not like, wow, that's so much better than the original. Speaking of not better than the original, we've got Eevee and Pikachu here. What? What was a lot of this? I'm seeing Pokemon in the foreground, and I really am glad that in Sword and Shield we're going to be getting that more. The throwing mechanics were frustrating, and the fact that I couldn't battle wild Pokemon was really stupid. It was definitely a lot of hand-holding that it wasn't necessary, but if you do go back and play Blue and Red, they're a lot harder. They're a lot harder of games. I also forgot to put Yellow up here, but they fall in the same line. Sun and Moon are B categories here. I really liked Sun and Moon. The visuals are outstanding, especially for the 3DS. Shows off the best of the 3DS, I think. They changed up the gym leader stuff. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. X and Y are solid B titles too. I can't remember too much from them. They're really fun though. Yeah. Nothing really fails for me with Pokemon because the thing is that none of them are different enough from each other to constitute being this low on the ranking. If anything, it's just like bravery and choices and Pokemon models and overall nostalgia, like let's be honest here, that kind of gets them where they are. And I'm not saying that Black and White is a bad series. Just for me personally, this is when I personally fell out of Pokemon. And so there's kind of, when I played them as an adult, actually after playing X and Y and after playing Sun and Moon. So I was late to the game on these. So maybe my disinterest in them is because I had already been on the tech wave. All right, guys. So let me know what your opinions are on all this stuff. I know you probably disagree with me on like 99% of it, but that's okay. That's the whole point of having an opinion, right? You guys have an awesome day and go play some video games.